Hello, this is Matt, and then Whatcast today. Another debate on the TikTok today. Funny one today. The first, I've kept it quite quiet, like there was a few people coming and going, but I never had a full panel. I don't like that, like we yesterday or the day before, whenever that was. The first guy that comes up, flat earther, ridiculous mop hair, like you can't see him, but I've seen him before. Looks like an actual mop. A constant annoyance to people because he's so disingenuous and he thinks that he can trigger people. He can't. He doesn't like it when he can't. He just comes out with the same old script. So he come in hot and didn't last very long. Went off and parroted to his friends. Sorry, peacocked to his friends about how he just won a debate because I laughed at him for a minute and then kicked him. Then another bloke come up. Hot. He came in hot and didn't want to hang around, just wanted to be insulting and leave. I challenged his masculinity by inviting him up because he was mouthing off in the comments and he didn't want to not accept it because he had issues. And then after that, another one come up that we had a really good conversation. He was very, still the denialism and everything like that, but pretty decent conversation. Fuzzy Bear come up to join in with that one, and maybe I can't remember if another couple of people. I can't even remember. But it was a pretty respectful, good conversation. Actually, can hear what people are saying and point counterpoint type thing. So hopefully you'll enjoy it. Cheers. Adios. You all right?
Yeah, I'm doing all right. I'm doing all right, man.
Good.
Yeah. So you're a Glober? You believe you're a heliocentrist?
Well, I don't really get involved in this conversation. Like we live on a globe, yes, but to define yourself as a glober, like that's all you do in life, I think is a bit sad. But yeah, and you're a flat earther. I've seen your lives.
So you're a Glober. Cool. So you're a
You
Glober.
can call me whatever you want.
Oh yeah, for sure. You believe you live on a on a spinning water ball in infinite space, right?
Yes, David Weiss. That's what I believe.
Awesome. Cool, man. Where do you want to start, man? You want to talk about something
I'd like
specific?
to talk about the flat Earth. Does any of you ever want to do that? I know that's not popular to talk about because then you are open to falsification. But where do you think we live?
Well, we live in a enclosed. I would say enclosed, pressurized, like terra firma. That's stationary.
Enclosed that ends after the dome, or are you a infinite plane person?
Can't speak on either one. I just know that it's enclosed because we're pressurized with a 14 psi sea level, and that's only possible with a container. So,
pressure gradient.
the
Right.
yeah, I believe we're in an enclosed system. Yeah.
Yeah, but pressure gradient, how in an enclosed system?
Through pressure gradient through different temperature gaps.
Through what? Sorry.
What do you mean? What's your question? How do we have a gradient?
Yes. Why is there hardly any pressure at the top of Mount Everest, for instance, versus the sea level?
Because of temperature.
Temperature.
Yeah, that's the only way you can change pressure, but is temperature and volume.
So do you believe that? Do you believe there's space at the top of the dome?
Like no, probably not. No,
Because
without it.
Because that would say, if there is, that would say that the pressure isn't pressing against the walls, therefore the containment is kind of unnecessary, right? Because you've just said that the pressure gradient gets less and less dense the higher you go. So
I don't know. Be water. It might be something else. I don't know. I don't.
So you don't know, but you're confident about it.
Yeah.
Huh?
No, I don't know what's outside of the firmament. That's
not
where
what's
I don't know.
outside. I'm still inside of the firmament.
Yo, am I lagging or are you lagging?
I don't think I am. I don't know. Am I lagging, chat? Is there anyone else that
It might be
can.
me. I don't know.
Yeah. So you haven't got it. So do you think we live on the Gleason's map, the AE map?
I don't know. I would say that there's been a lot of arguments for a specific map because of the 24-hour sun, and it gets debunked or whatever. But all I can speak of is the measurements of the Earth's flat, man. So if you want to talk about the ground, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, why do flat earthers not want to talk about the sky, like the sunsets and the star rotations and the 24-hour sun? Like, why? I know that doesn't work for you, so you avoid it like the plague. But do you think that's a little bit disingenuous?
No, I think it's disingenuous. You want to talk about the sky, and we're talking about the ground. I think that's pretty
No,
disingenuous.
I think it's disingenuous that you won't talk about the sky because you know you have no answers for the sky.
I mean, you want to talk about it. I mean, we can talk about star trails all day long, but it's just going to end up with
Let's talk about star trails. Why is there 2 points of rotation in the sky?
We're going to end up disagreeing regardless, though. Just so you know.
What? So you think we'll agree on the ground? Then do you think we'll come to an agreement on that?
Yeah, I mean, I think the ground's pretty objective, dude.
Is it?
Yeah, that's the guide. Who the fuck knows? I mean, excuse me. I don't know. Who the hell knows what's going on? Is it the sun? Is it not the sun? Is it the apparent sun? Is the horizon? I don't know. I mean, you can talk about it if you want.
Where would you even get the apparent sun from? Like, that's just drivel, isn't it? Like, why would you be so willing to accept an apparent sun whilst rejecting what you actually see, the sun going below the horizon, bottom up? Like, you reject that and say that's perspective, but then you just say apparent sun, so the sun can be wherever you need it to be.
It was in context. I'm not specifically saying the sun's apparent. I mean, the sun does prospectively set, not literally though.
It doesn't literally set.
No, it doesn't literally set.
Why does it go dark then? What's that?
It disappears bottom up due to its angular resolution limit. Things start disappearing bottom up once they get farther away from you, man.
That doesn't happen. What you think the ground would obscure something from the bottom up just due to perspective?
Yeah, man. Yeah, that's literally what I'm saying.
But that's literally not true, is it?
So when boats disappear over the horizon, is it due to curvature or is it due to optical effects?
Well, I can show you if you want. Let's have a look. You can maybe try and explain this one for me. Very confusing. Hold on a second. I've just got to bring it up. Bookmarks. I'm gonna have to do this nonsense. Can't share your screen on this. So, hold on a second. There you go.
Nice. I've seen this video.
Yeah. So, and there is
what about it?
ship number 1, and next to it, ship number 2 further away, exactly the same kind of boat. What's obscuring that?
What is that the ship?
That's the same thing going along beside the other one, but much further back. You can see that. I'll show you again.
Yeah, I seen it, man. So real quick, man. Do me a favor. If you're gonna show something, do you have any data with it, or are you just gonna show me things? Like, do you know the distance? Do you know the observer height?
It's probably in the description here, but that's just a deflection, and you know it because you can't explain what I've just shown you.
So
Let's just make anything up for an observer height and distance. It could be let's say it's a million. Let's say it's 1,000,000 miles away. Why is it obscured from the bottom? What a surprise! What a surprise! Show me some evidence. I don't like that.
I got you some evidence. I got some evidence. If you want some evidence, I got some evidence, buddy. Hold on. Yeah, we don't know what that was. I mean, it was cool though. Maybe have some actual, data next time. That'd be way better.
Yeah, because that would have changed everything, wouldn't it?
Yeah, you want to put me in big screen, bro, or you just make it even fewer.
There's just no point. Like, I've literally just shown you a ship behind the horizon, and all you can say is, but I need more data. It was behind the horizon anyway. So let's. What difference does it make? What distance it is?
You can be disingenuous.
It's obscured from the bottom up. Who's being
All right, cool,
disingenuous?
cool, cool. Hey, look, I'm
Yeah,
gonna leave.
you're not on your live now, so you don't get to just talk over everybody until they leave, okay? So you can just sit there talking if you want, and I'll just talk over you. I've just shown you curvature of the Earth. You can't explain it, so you're asking for numbers, which would make no difference to you because you don't know anything about numbers anyway. All right? That's right, isn't it?
Really? It wouldn't make no difference. First of all, Neil deGrasse Tyson says no one can see curvature under 63 miles in altitude. So for you to be that gullible and say
Who
that
say
you're
that? Who says that? Say that
is kind
again.
of ridiculous.
Like, stop the script. I know you've said it so many times that you say it very, very fast, but can you repeat that, what you just said?
Yeah. So Neil deGrasse Tyson states no one can see any curvature under 63 miles in altitude.
Right, Neil, I'm just going to mark it off on my flat Earth bingo. Hold on, Neil deGrasse Tyson. Right, okay,
so you're going to put me on big screen, bro, or you're going to cry about it? Because if you're going to cry about it, I'm going to leave, bro.
Unlike you, please don't leave. Oh, no. Please don't leave. Don't leave.
You have no data, bro. You showed a video with no data. That's kind of cute, bro. If you want, I can show you a video with actual data if that helps you out a little bit. Hey, real quick, buddy. Hey, real quick. How far should the horizon be for a 1 foot observer, man?
What difference does any of this make to what I've just shown you?
Answer the question. How far
no, I'm not answering the question. You don't come here and dictate to me. You gave me absolutely nothing. I showed you something. Yeah, fake laughing isn't going to help you. I've seen you. You always do this. Ha 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 ha. Have you just looked at your perm in the mirror? Is that why you're laughing? Is that what that is?
No. I want to know real quick. So is the horizon a physical obstruction or is it an optical obstruction? Which one is it?
You're going to say the horizon is only apparent. You're not going to catch me out with any of this shit that you all say. Like you all say the same stuff. You all say the same stuff. Like nothing you say is original or any good. Hold on, I've just got other people in the box here.
Brother, how about you actually debate me? Oh, now he needs help.
Sorry, what?
Now you need help, so you can't do a one-on-one.
I don't even know who this person is. This might be a flat earther. I couldn't.
Can you drop him real quick? Let's do a 1v1, bro. I don't need help. You don't need help, bro.
There's people requesting. You're not. I'll tell you what I'm gonna do. Right. I'll tell you what I'm gonna do.
Do what you want, bro. You're scared of debate, bro. That's not my fault, bro.
You're not. I've shown you something, and you've just said, "No, I can't explain that." Here, I've got something. So why would I bother looking at yours?
You showed me.
Explain. I'll do you a deal. I'll do you a deal. Explain why. Yeah. The laughter is not helping you. You just look like a dick. Explain why the ship was beyond the horizon, where you could only see the top half of it. Explain why that is, and then I'll look at your evidence that you're going to show me that I've probably seen 6 trillion times already.
Yeah, man, things disappear bottom up due to the different.
Well, no, they don't. So try again.
You want to give me? So look, check it out, man. So when you say "nuh-uh" and cry about it, and don't let me get.
Why would I cry? Can I ask you a question? Your whole life is. No. Stop.
Are you gonna let me get big so I can prove it?
Nah, not now, because I don't like you very much.
Oh, Andy, do you see this shit? Andy, it's too easy, dog.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous,
too easy.
Bro. But check it.
Right.
Check it. So if I
your
can't
entire
get big to show any
existence,
evidence,
your entire existence is I'm a flat earther and I'm special. My entire existence isn't. Oh, the globe! I love the globe. So why would I be crying about anything you show me? It makes no difference.
Is that why you're on live trying to convince people you come from this monkey ass, bro?
No, I'm not trying to convince anyone. I'm making content because I'm monetized. Okay. I'm monetized talking to idiots. It's funny.
Oh, really? That's kind of subjective. Who's just appear being a differentiated? All right, that's cool, man. Whatever. So are you gonna let me show some evidence or talk about any numbers, or are you just gonna show a video with no data? A
video with no data that you can't explain. So with the data, you'd be even more fucked.
I already told you, when things get farther from you, they appear to disappear bottom up.
Yeah, but everybody knows that isn't true, don't they? Everybody knows that's drivel.
Let me get the big screen and show you, buddy. Stop saying, "Nah, you fucking shitty salesman," and let me get the big screen, bro. Right. If not, then say, "Nah,
say please."
I've literally said please 4 times, dude.
What's that again?
That's actually, bro, that's astonishing, bro. You guys are way too easy to debate these days, man. It's actually kind of sad.
Is it? Is that why you kick everyone out of your live immediately when they start questioning you? Because everyone's so easy to debate. He's
scared of shit. He's scared, Eddie. He's scared. It's
like, Andy, come and help me. Look, he's scared. What, did you bring your friend in with you? How lame is that? No, come in here. I'm going to debate someone. Come and watch me, Andy.
Yeah, hey, you know what? I could bring some homies in here to watch me, dog, destroy you because you're so far you haven't said shit, but and you cried. So
other than the evidence that you couldn't explain, that's literally all I've done so far.
So I'm about to explain it, genius. Hey, if you're a genius and let me get big screen, I will explain to you what angle resolution.
You haven't said please yet.
I literally said please 4 times, bro.
Say it
You want me to
again.
say it
Say it
again? Fully?
5. Yeah.
Bro, may I please show my evidence on the big screen?
No.
Oh, fucking typical glowheads, man.
Yeah, glow beds. It's my entire existence as a glow bed.
I know, right? You're in fucking live trying to convince people you're come from monkey ass in a cosmological
I
accident.
don't care about any of that.
Oh, hysterical, man.
I couldn't care less about evolution and everything like that. And you're a knob. So, see you later. Hello, who's this other person in here?
Hi. So yeah, I have a lot of experience with that guy. Basically, he's just a clone of
No,
Nathan.
I've seen him on other things, and he just I've seen everything he says, and he comes in here thinking he's proper unique, but he's not.
Yeah,
He's very
he
boring.
owes me $100. He owes another person $100, and then he owes another person $100. He hasn't paid any of us.
Well, of
and
course
then
not.
and then also he says that, like, oh, you're so afraid to debate or whatever. It's weird that he has blocked me on everything because he's scared to debate.
I don't know why anyone's scared. Like that's a really weird accusation when people say things like that. You're scared to debate. What it is, I'll talk to anybody. If someone can prove something wrong, I'm not married to any of my ideas. I don't really care that much. It's my lives that I do on here are not very often like they're just for a bit of a laugh. But when you're going to come up and start trying to dictate what I'm going to do with my life, I'm not going to take it very well. And all this bro shit and all that, like, just why does he do things like that when he starts? They always do the same thing, don't they? Like they'll ask for something, you show it to them, they don't want to explain it. Yeah, but I'll show you this. I bet he had something like a coin on the table. That thing that they do when they push it away and the camera's under the table. Hello, mate. What are you trying to say?
Oh, I just got kicked out and blocked from one because they asked for a demonstration of something working on a ball, and when I tried to show it to them, they said, "No, you're done," and blocked me.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I'm not being pleasant. I've seen him in his lives, and when I see him as requested, I just ignored him at first. I thought, oh, there's that person. I've only seen his name before. But then he comes up, he asks to talk about something. I'll bring up something. He doesn't want to talk about that. I'll show you something that, no, you won't. I'm not on your live now. So I'm not interested in dancing for flat earthers. It's not interesting to me.
You know those like stress toys that like you can squeeze them and they like jump out of your hand, like they have like gel in them?
Yeah.
That's I think how a lot of flat earthers are, where they just go, no, there's just so much evidence. And if you ever try and say, well, this bit of evidence isn't actually true, you're misunderstanding it, they just jump to the other things.
Yeah.
You can never actually like convince
I know.
them that one piece of evidence is wrong, because they just say, no, there's so much evidence, even though it's a mile wide and an inch deep.
Yeah. I've never claimed to be like some people on here are really into this topic and they know all about space and everything. Like, I'm not one of those people, but I know enough to be able to see the sun isn't getting massive as it's approaching me, and as it goes away, it's not getting tiny, small, and then just disappearing. It's going actually below the horizon. I know that there's 2 points of rotation in the sky. This is why none of them want to talk about the sky, because they know that it debunks everything they say. So
this is my favorite one with flat earthers is they argue that the sun disappears because of it gets too far away,
perspective. Yeah, that's what I think that's what he was trying to show me on the thing. But I've actually done a video laughing at that, like, because they always film it from under the table.
Yeah, but
they always put a camera out slightly under the table when they push something away, and look, it's obscured from the bottom up. Of course, it is. You're filming it from the bottom up.
Here's the best part, though, is if you ask them if you go up in altitude, if you can see the sun again, they'll go yes, and you go okay. So what you've just done is created a right triangle with a hypotenuse, and you're now further away from the sun than you were.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, we had
so
that.
to see it again.
I was on a live yesterday and someone brought that up, and the guy just did not understand it at all. But it's just obvious. But yeah, nothing's obvious, I guess, to certain people. But I see, is there any other flat earthers in the room? I don't know if I can bring anyone up. My screen, I might have to start again. My screen keeps freezing there.
Well, hey, thanks for having me. I appreciate your content.
Yeah,
Oh, thank you very much.
I
Cheers,
appreciate
mate.
it too. I just came in to scare him away, but thank you.
All right, okay, cool. Hey, Awake and Growing
What's
is
up,
here.
nerd?
What's up? What? Why have you got to come in try and be insulting? It's not impressive. Nobody cares.
Yeah, bruh. It's moving out. You can't stop, won't stop. Truth is coming out.
No.
You know it.
And
The very fact that you're talking about this is just that's all. It's enough. So either you don't see it, or you refuse to see it.
Oh, you've just crushed me there. That was one of my yeah. That was one of my big. Oh yeah, that was very brave. One of my big things is to end flat Earth. That's really what I want to do.
Yeah,
I'm on here because I just want to shut the movement down.
It's here to stay, asshole.
It affects my life.
Shut the fuck up. It's here to stay. You can't stop it. You won't stop it.
You sound really bright. Did you know?
So do you.
What's your Thank you. What's your best evidence of your?
No. There's no debating it, bro. You just won't see it.
There's no debate.
Yeah, there's no debating it. I don't debate. You just either you won't see it or you can't see it. You refuse to see it. So.
Why is there 2 points of rotation in the sky? Can you
have
explain
a good
that?
day. Shut the fuck up. Have a good day.
Yeah. There's no debating. There's no point. There's no point in answering any questions. We already know we live on a flat Earth. He only come up because I challenged him, and his masculinity would have taken a hit if he didn't come up, because I actually invited him up, and he thought, I'm going to show him, and then looked like a dick for 2 seconds and left. Flat Earth has science and observation. Heliocentric is fairy tales. Which scientist agrees with you? 1024 person. Yeah, exactly. Fuzzy fuzzy. Yeah, everything points to a flat Earth. Oh look, the sun's setting. Yeah, perspective. Yeah, right, mate. We have hello. We have a star south crossing the globe. How? Yeah, exactly. 1024. What's your scientific evidence?
Electromagnetism.
Whose hypothesis is this? Austin Whitsitt?
What do you mean hypothesis? All scientists accept electromagnetism.
What they say that?
One of your fundamental four forces.
Oh, please don't come up here and just talk over. If you're going to ask me a question, let me answer the fucking question. Don't do the flat Earth shit that they all do. Electromagnetism, yes, it exists. Are you suggesting that it replaces gravity? Is that what you're saying?
I would say that electromagnetism is the force and the gravity is the after effect.
The after effect?
Correct.
All right, explain that further. I don't understand what you mean.
Just like a car going down the road, you have your wind turbulence as the after effect.
So you do believe gravity exists?
Not as a force.
So as what then? As
an after effect, just like the car goes by.
What does it do?
What do you mean? It doesn't do anything.
There's no point in it then, is there really?
It's not a force.
Why do you accept it at all then if it doesn't do anything?
Because it's still observed.
Is it?
Yeah, on a very tiny scale, sure.
So electromagnetism would bring everything to the ground at the exact same speed, regardless of what it was made of.
Nothing falls down at the exact same speed.
Everything falls down.
You're talking about your 9.8 meters squared? Is that where you're referring to?
Yes.
Oh, that's an average. It's not a constant.
It's within the, what do you call it? What do you call this word I'm looking for? It's all about that, right?
What? It's about, yeah, that's why we say it's an average. It changes depending on where you're at in elevation, where you're at on this earth.
Yeah, but a feather and a bowling ball in a vacuum chamber, they should fall at completely different rates, right? So even if they're within, what do you call it? Something of error. You know what I'm trying to say.
The what? Well, yeah.
I just can't think of what I'm trying to say. There's something of error. Yeah.
Well,
margin of error. Thank you very much, chat. The margin of error.
Okay. Within a vacuum chamber, you remove the resistance that those objects resist against.
Yeah.
So why would they not somewhat be around the same speed if there's no resistance to them?
Well, if they're being pulled down by electromagnetism, they would be reacting to the different elements in the objects and pulling them down at completely different speeds.
Electromagnetism is just as weak as the claimed gravity. A little stronger than the gravity claimed force. It's still very weak. Most objects will seek their equilibrium based on their mass.
I've heard that before, right? So when people say they seek their equilibrium, what does that mean? So if something starts life in a tree, does it fall back up to the tree?
No.
Well, then what would bring it from the tree to the ground then if it started life in the tree?
The mass.
So there is an attractive force to the ground.
You're calling it a force at this point. Density and buoyancy is not a force.
Yeah, I never mentioned density and buoyancy. You did.
Yeah, mass.
Right, but so if there's so you accept. I'm just trying to work out what kind of flat earther you are, right? Because I've heard all different types. So you accept there is an attractive force that makes everything go down.
Things go down because that's just there's no force acting upon it to send it to the left or right or up.
So which force is acting upon it to send it down?
In free fall, there's no force acting upon it. It's falling down because
any motion needs a direction. That's just the way it is. So which force is bringing it down? Why is it going down?
There's no force in free fall.
What causes it? What causes free fall to be pointing down?
Because down is down.
Right. So
we have an X and Y axis.
You quote science in the room, and then you come here and that is science. Every motion needs a direction. Every force needs a direction. You can't just say leave something there, and it will just automatically go this way without anybody pulling it or pushing it that way. That's just not a thing.
Objects at rest tend to stay at rest.
Yep.
Unless acted upon by a what? 1024?
Yeah, yep. So I said free fall here.
No, so objects at rest, like the apple in the tree is at rest, tend to stay at rest.
Yeah.
So they're not going to move in three-dimensional space unless acted upon by a what?
Not necessarily. The apple.
You can say it. You can say it. You can say it. It's okay. Yeah, it won't hurt you to say the word.
If you
it
want,
won't hurt you. I promise.
If you want the force, I'll admit
force. Okay. So the apple at rest in the tree will stay at rest unless acted upon by a force. So something is pulling it down. Something is accelerating it downward. Acceleration requires a force. Unless you're smarter than Newton. Maybe you are. I don't know.
Okay, and if that force was continuously being applied, that apple would not float in the water. It would continue to go down.
That's the buoyant force.
No, that's the buoyant force that emerges due to gravity.
I don't see buoyancy as
the opposite force of gravity.
Buoyancy is a force. It is calculable as a force with a direction.
Density that's not a force.
Density is not a force. Buoyancy is a force that is calculable with a direction, and it is calculable based on the force of gravity.
So I'm not look, you're having a conversation. I appreciate you having a conversation.
I guess I'll ask, what physical experiment will show me that gravity is a force?
The Cavendish experiment.
How have you removed the electro field from that experiment? How have you isolated?
You don't have to. You don't have to.
What do you mean you don't have to? How do you claim something if you haven't
You don't have to.
isolated?
What you can do, what I've seen done is they will, in order to verify for themselves that magnetism is not applying, is not generating the motion. They can do the experiment in a very strong magnetic field with lead, which is non-ferrous, and see that the acceleration is unchanged by the very strong magnetic field. So magnetism can be ruled out without having to specifically isolate against it, although using lead, I would argue, does that. You can also do the same thing with electricity. You can put it in a very strong electrical field and see that it doesn't change the experiment. It doesn't change the acceleration that is due to the masses. You can also calculate the potential difference and understand how much force,
I don't know how to do
based
that,
on
Juice.
Coulomb's law, that the electrical potential would provide, and then observe the motion and say, hey, that is a lot more force than the electrical potential would provide. There is no other explanation.
Wouldn't a
Electrical
Faraday cage?
potential
Wouldn't a
doesn't
Faraday
explain
cage
it.
just isolate gravity?
No, not necessarily, because there would still be electrical potential inside of the Faraday cage. It wouldn't be coming from the outside, electromagnetics, but there would still be electrical potential inside, right? But you can also calculate, based on Coulomb's law, what the electrical potential for attraction would be, right? And then observe what you get. The numbers don't add up. When you observe what you get for what the electrical potential would be, the numbers don't add up to what they observe in that test. So no, electricity is not the answer for why the Cavendish experiment shows motion. So it's attraction. Doesn't explain it.
Okay, we're still not isolating this force.
Don't have to. You can account for all the other forces and then still observe additional force, which is based on calculably mass attracting mass.
The thing is, like
Newton's
but
law.
the weird thing is, though, this is what I fail to understand. Like when we get into the weeds with this gravity thing that everybody always goes on about, the flat earthers, when they all say the same stuff. You like you've just said electromagnetism, and you're kind of between, but that attracts everything to the ground, and you're also saying that nothing attracts everything to the ground. It just happens to fall that way just because it's down. So which one is it, though? I need to clarify. Which is there an attractive force to the ground, or is there not?
Yeah, there's a downward vector, a very small,
which is caused by
9.8 meters per second squared is small acceleration.
That's your average velocity.
That's pretty strong.
It's
not a velocity;
though,
it's an acceleration.
You can nitpick that it's average, but that's pretty much what it is, right? So everything falls at pretty much the same speed. So
the attraction due to gravity for a golf ball, a bowling ball, and a boulder is 9.8 meters per second squared. No difference.
And that's within a vacuum, right?
No, that is on the shape of the Earth, on Earth. On the surface of the Earth.
Well, it's in a vacuum because obviously a feather in the wind wouldn't fall at the same. So
again, the force of acceleration and the subsequent velocity are two different things. The force of acceleration is 9.8 meters per second squared. The resultant
but I think what he's getting at is you couldn't
different.
measure that unless you were in a vacuum, could you? You couldn't measure that because it wouldn't.
No, you could. You could.
Could you? How?
Yeah, the weight is measuring 9.8 meters per second squared.
Okay.
What?
It's the force pulling
the
downward.
difference between me and flat earthers is when I don't know something, I just don't know it.
That's okay.
That's it. I'm happy to accept it. I don't think I'm brighter than all of science and physics because I watched Eric Dubay 200 proofs. So that's the difference between me.
Well, so I didn't learn from Eric Dubay. To be honest, the individual that I would probably have learned the most from would be Ken Wheeler, which is not even a flat earther.
I don't know who that is. Do you know who that is, Fuzzy?
I do not. I've never heard the name Ken Wheeler.
Is it Ken or Kent?
Ken, K-E-N, Wheeler.
This person up, right? I was curious now. It's a new
And
one
he's
on
not
me.
a flat earther?
No.
Okay.
Well, but he taught you the Earth is flat, but he's not a flat earther.
What's that?
He taught you that the Earth is flat, but he's not a flat earther.
Well, so the only thing that's flat is our x-axis, or our sea level, the water. The land of the Earth is topographical.
Sure. Except it's not flat, though.
Well, that's where we disagree. I agree.
Again.
Sure.
Okay, hold on 2 seconds. I'm gonna do this again here. I'll hopefully you'll be honest about this. So this is it's a couple of boats here. That one's in full view. That one's further back. Same. You can see it's exactly the same. However, that one is the whole bottom is obscured. No compression. You can't see anything there. It's completely obscured, even though it's exactly the same, just further away as the one next to it. Right. So what's going on there?
Well, so this is going to be a conversation where we reach an impasse, because you're going to have your claims and I'm going to have my claims. I'm going to tell you that it's perspective. It's due to atmosphere. There's many variables that go into why we had just observed what you showed.
So what evidence is there that perspective makes things obscured from the bottom up first, like that it doesn't just get far enough away that you can't resolve it with your eyes anymore?
I don't know. Every observation I've made is I observe the objects disappearing from the bottom to the up, depending on the size of that object.
Yes.
Yeah. Why? So why do you think that is?
That's the thing. Well, you claim it as the curve.
Why would you? But okay, can I ask you this?
Let me ask.
Yeah, go on. Go for it, Fuzzy. Yeah.
Let me ask you this: you're driving on a highway, right? Long stretch of straight road ahead of you with an overpass that a truck in front of you is going to go over. He's about a half mile in front of you. Truck goes up the overpass. You see him go up. Then at some point you see the back of the truck all the way at the top of the overpass. You haven't gotten there yet. He's a half a mile ahead of you. And then as he crests the hill, you see his wheels disappear. And then you see the bumper disappear. And then you see the door latch disappear. And then the logo on the back of the truck disappears. And then the top of the truck disappears. From the bottom up, it disappears because it's going over a curved surface away from you. Your eye knows what that looks like. Yeah, and you see the very same thing on the ocean with a boat going away from you, disappearing from the bottom up, and you say, "Oh, that's just due to perspective."
Well, so that semi
Why is that?
The semi demonstration that you just provided, you just claimed like a half mile.
Sure.
Some of the ships that we observe are miles.
Yes.
Okay, so
yes.
Those are two different distances, and you're going to make two different observations from two different distances.
Your eye is seeing the very same pattern.
Yeah, we observe objects disappear from bottom up.
That's actually really annoying. Fuzzy, sorry to butt in. I'm just looking at this video. It's got all the information of the observer height and the distance to the ships underneath, which I didn't read. When that dickhead was in here earlier, he was asking me for that. I should have just looked down and told him.
Yeah, no,
because he wouldn't have known anyway, and that's what I was.
That video is awesome. That video is awesome, and I actually have...
The problem is, I hate talking to people like him. I don't want to give him anything. That other one, I don't know if he was here, the Inconvenient Truth, whatever he's called. He's just, they're one of these people that it doesn't matter what you say. They're just going to talk over you, tell you you're scared.
Free SVG?
Huh?
Is that the guy with the mop hair?
Free mop SVG? Hair, yeah.
Yes. Oh, goodness.
I had him up and I thought I might as well have a laugh with him. But then he started making demands. I showed him this video. He was asking me the observer height. And I just thought, the way you're talking to me, I don't want to tell you anything because I kind of wish I had, because it's all there. And I know he wouldn't have been able to refute it anyway.
It is.
But,
it's inconsequential to the observation.
That's exactly what I said.
Because the The claim is that zooming further in would see more of the boat vertically, when in fact I've done it. I have it actually in a PowerPoint. You take screenshots of zoomed out when you first see that other boat
Yeah, I've
sinking.
seen that. Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And then zoomed all the way in, you see no more vertical bit of that boat. You just see it clearer as you zoom in.
Exactly.
You don't see any more vertically of that boat, not an inch.
But that was a pretty good point that you just made, though. So the 1024, like he's just literally said to you, if there's something over a slight hump in the road and you can't see the bottom of it, you just think that's over a hump in the road. That's why I can't see the bottom of it. You don't think, oh, I can't see the bottom of that because of perspective. Like
Correct.
It's just counterintuitive to say that.
Well, okay, the same thing you can apply the same thing to seeing the mirages on the road that when the road
completely
disappears
different.
out in front of you.
It's completely different.
Well, it's due to your perspective and the atmosphere.
It's a completely different phenomenon.
Do you think that the atmosphere would hide the boat like that? Is that what you're saying?
Well, that depending on the atmosphere.
Why does it prefer the bottom of the boat to hide it?
It would squish it, surely.
Because your eyes can't make that resolution.
But it's zoomed right in. He's even using a Flurf 1000, I think, here in this.
Yes, that is a P1000 camera. That video, I know that video very well.
Yeah, a Nikon P1000. Yeah.
Yes. So angular resolution applies holistically to an object. It doesn't apply more at the bottom of the object than at the top. Angular resolution applies uniformly to an object.
Well, you're getting less light at the bottom of the observation. So
why are you getting less light? What's blocking the light?
The atmosphere, the compression of what you're seeing.
Say it again.
There's many factors.
So can I just like the closest ship in what I've just shown you there? So the closest ship is 8.86 miles away, and the other ship is 12.6 miles away. So you'd think that if that is happening and it's just the atmosphere, that a lot of the bottom of the closer ship would also be missing, right? But it's not at all because it hasn't gone over the horizon yet.
Mm-hmm.
Well, so, okay, I guess is the horizon physical or is it apparent?
Oh, no. That's exactly what the bloke said earlier on. But
yes,
you realize there is a physical horizon, right? Like there is a physical.
Everything we ever see is apparent. Everything we ever see.
Yeah, exactly. My hand now is apparent.
Is apparent.
This phone that I'm looking at is apparent.
Everything you ever see is apparent. That doesn't mean it's not physical.
Yeah.
The horizon that we see is the apparent expression of the physical curvature of the Earth.
Which is only supposed to be 3 miles, isn't it?
The physical aspect, yes, but things, as you say, like atmosphere, can affect what we see. But it affects it in a very specific way.
Well, okay, so...
Light bending downward makes things appear higher.
We have the physical horizon 3 miles out.
Yes.
Now, myself, I've made a 50-mile observation. So
from what elevation?
I estimated about 20.
20 feet?
20 feet, yes.
No, I would highly doubt that. Well, so to what target height?
To be honest, I don't know what the target height was. I was looking at the entire skyline of Chicago because it was at night.
This is from Lake Michigan, right?
Yep. I made that observation myself.
Great. You have a picture of it?
Yeah.
Can you show it?
Give me a second. Let me remember how to do this.
Yeah. And you should probably go and make it again like the next day and the next day.
So you say you were 7 meters high.
I don't do well with conversions.
It's 21 feet. 7 meters, 21 feet. 50 miles. 2 kilometers. 80 kilometers. and 1,450 feet. So at a 7-meter height, here's let me just put my camera on. With zero refraction.
Okay, hold on 2 secs. Oh no, he's doing it again. I can't.
You can't give me the big screen?
No, maybe I can.
Happens.
That's why I restarted my live, because I just it all.
It happens once in a while.
Hold on. I can't. No, I can't do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
In any way, I think you're not going to be able to read the numbers. I'll read them out to you, but I'll try and get in close, right? So, where is it? Sorry,
Jamie.
Yeah, you might. So 7 meters, 21 feet, 80,000 meters, which is 80 kilometers, 50 miles, and 1,450. I'm sorry, 1,450 meters. That's wrong. Divided by 3, so it's about 500 meters. 500 meters, right? For the Chicago, the Willis Tower. You would be able to see, without refraction at all, you would be able to see about 320 feet of the top of that building.
Well, my observation
without
is not
refraction.
my observation is not just of Willis Tower; it's the entire Chicago skyline.
Okay. So if you put the entire, let me.
I'm sorry, 1024. I want to make that bigger, but I can't do it for some reason today. So I'm sorry about that.
So I converted to feet. So visible. So there's hidden height with standard refraction. With standard refraction, you've got a hidden height of 870 feet. So yes, you would still see the tallest buildings in Chicago.
Well, so as you can see,
you would still see the tops.
I kind of can't see your picture, and I wish I could.
Yeah, I can't
it's
see
quite
it.
Annoying. But I can't. Normally, you can just give it the big screen, but every time I press the screen, I just starts pissing around with my picture of me.
I've had similar problems, dude. It's TikTok gets glitched like crazy.
Yeah.
So
if it's anyone in the guest box, I probably don't know that you're there. That's another thing.
The things I can't tell from your picture, I can't really make out the skyline, and I can't really judge how high above the water you are. Can't really make out anything there.
Yeah, without being able to.
Can you see the beach? Can you see the bottom of the buildings?
Can I see the bottom? No, so I don't know if you can see. There's a very bright light strip right where the horizon is at.
Yes,
that is all the buildings that are creating the Chicago skyline.
Okay.
So
let me see if I can zoom that in on a screenshot.
Like if so that means that this refraction is taking this light from all the buildings and creating a straight line in front of me at the horizon.
Yes, it would. Again, the refraction bends light downwards towards the denser medium, which would then make objects appear to be coming from a higher angle.
So I guess I would also say that I would expect to see some type of curve of this light, because I'm also observing a very wide range of the Chicago skyline. So I'm also going to have a curve from the left to the right of my.
So you're seeing at 50 miles away. Your left to right of Chicago would probably be about maybe 4 miles.
So when I were just using, and I don't use this as this is a proof or this is verified. This is just an observation that I made and went through the math and all of this stuff. So when I was using Google Maps or Google Earth to get a distance, I was coming out to about a 10-mile left to right of the Chicago skyline.
Okay. So let's call it 10 miles. That's 1/7 of a degree.
Yeah, very tiny, very small. I understand.
1/7 of a degree. which actually means 5 miles from center to edge, right? Right? And over 5 miles, that's 25 times 8, that's 200 inches. 50 miles away, something 200 inches tall would be like 1 pixel on a digital camera, 2 pixels, maybe.
Sure. I don't dispute. I don't dispute that it's very
minuscule.
That's very minute. Like I said, I don't use this as evidence, and this is why I don't really like looking at just pure observations. Is not usually something I like to talk about because we all reach an impasse at some point in time.
Mm-hmm. Here's a couple of observations for you that you could make. We just passed it, but on the day of the equinox, every single person on Earth that observes a sunrise observes it exactly due east, precisely. And on that same day, every single person that observes a sunset sees it precisely due west. Think about that for a second.
Darryl McGee, sorry, Fuzzy. I can't bring him up because I can't do it, but Darryl McGee's saying that you're talking nonsense when you're saying where things objectively are in the sky. That's nonsense.
Everyone on Earth sees the sunrise due east on the equinox. Everyone on the entire planet, right? Think about that from the perspective of you've got a sun on a flat Earth that is rotating in a circle around us and making a curved arc around us. But every single person that sees the sunrise sees it come from due east.
So I've come. I would say maybe the second or third time that I've come across that claim. I haven't had enough time to look into that or
it's pretty easy. If you go to timeanddate.com, navigate yourself to the equinox.
Can I ask, like 1024, you seem like I way prefer having conversations like this than the sort of dicks that come up here when everyone can actually let each other talk and stuff. But are you, like, I'm not really sure with you, are you somebody that's open to change your mind, or are you somebody that's completely convinced and it kind of, you have to ignore things that don't work for you?
I'm open for my mind to be changed. I've gotten to the point where there's certain experiments that would have to be shown for me to change my mind. Like when the TFE and Jaron and Austin and Will, all them went down to Antarctica. Like, I seriously had to sit down and rethink everything within the claims that were being made from the flat Earth and the globe Earth to understand what I was observing. It with that sun wrapping around 24 hours in the southern, at that point in the southern region, it threw quite a wrench in things.
So what's your opinion on that?
Yeah.
How did you settle that in your mind with a flat Earth?
So I still haven't settled it. I guess that I have to walk out because it's an observation. And I have to walk out the sciences, and that's where I'm drawing a possibility that within the flat Earth model that you can still observe a 24-hour sun that appears to be wrapping around you in the southern.
Are you looking at Joe Hanvey's model? Is that what you're looking at?
No, well, that's a representation. I don't think that it actually is how.
What about the other guy, though? What was the other guy's name? Oh, I forget his name now. The other guy that's saying that because even though the sun's 180 degrees that way, it's really over there.
Like the Walter Bislin model that was taken in.
Yes, the Azimuth grid and stuff. But there's a guy.
Yes.
What's that guy's name, Fuzzy? He had a debate with Will Duffy a little while ago.
Dr. Alonso.
Yes, Stephen Alonso.
Yes. That guy's got some weird claims. I don't. I've listened to him, and they're a little.
What do you think of the Walter Bislin's azimuthal grid of vision model?
It's logical.
Okay. Have you ever read what he said about it?
What, Walter Bislin?
Yeah.
I read. Yep.
You understand that he basically had to break all the laws of physics and bake in globe numbers in order to make that work, right?
I guess I didn't get that far into what
Okay.
Walter said.
Yeah, so he tried to make it work. He realized he couldn't. He wanted to get something that would at least show what it could look like on a flat Earth. And so he basically threw up his hands. He broke all the laws of physics that we know as far as how light behaves. And he literally just baked in the radius of the Earth and the globe numbers to create that math and make it work. He just literally baked it in. And he says so on his page. You can read all about it just above that model. Don't scroll right down to it, but read what he said about it.
1024.
He even included a slider that you could play with the radius value to demonstrate, to prove that that's what he was doing. He put in a slider where you could play with the radius value and see the effect it has on it. It completely destroys anything, right? So he literally.
Sorry, 1024. So you just said that, like, what was you talking about? The azimuthal grid of vision and stuff. You said that's logical. Is that? Do you think, like, be honest, is that more logical than the sun is in the sky for 24 hours because it's the South Pole on a sphere?
Well, both. Well, within the as everyone says, the hijacked Walter Bislin model and the globe Earth model, they both account for the 24-hour sun.
Yeah, but one of them is got the sun at the other end, and it's just showing you that the sun's over there.
I agree, man.
That's not logical.
The sky is I have a lot of questions about the sky.
Have you ever heard what Jaron said in his first broadcast back from the final experiment before he
Hold on,
admitted...
Fuzzy. I'm with you, Fuzzy. Just before we do that, what do you think of Jaron? Because this is whether this will go anywhere or not. Do you believe Jaron is honest?
I'm in Jaron's VIP chat. I've had many conversations with him.
I like Jaron. I like Jaron, and I did like Jaron before he was he changed his mind.
So what was really interesting, I listened to his first broadcast after coming back. He was still not. He was still a flat earther, and claimed he was. Right. And his quote that he issued, it's about 3 times in that broadcast. It's a 2-hour broadcast. It's still on his page, I think. His quote several times, he said, while he still believed that the earth, the ground measures flat, the only possible explanation for what he observes in the sky is that we live on a sphere. That's the only possible. He said that crystal clear at least 3 times in that broadcast after coming back from
he also said that was based on the sun's position from the southern tip of Chile, rather than the sun.
I think that threw him more. I think that observation in southern Chile when he saw the sun circling the wrong direction threw him more than actually seeing or at least set the stage for him to completely understand that this thing is going around my head in Antarctica.
Yeah, there are some things that I agree with Jaron, and there's some things that I disagree with.
Mm-hmm.
Have you spoken to him since he came back?
Yeah, I've been in his VIPs on Saturdays.
So what questions do you put to him?
Well, it's a VIP chat. I do try to keep it like I'm not trying to have a debate in there or ask questions.
Right.
Like I continuously have talk with Jaron since.
That's cool.
Zamboni in the chat there. I think he did say that. He did say I'll never be a glober, but you know why he said that? Because it's really difficult, isn't it? Like if you've been doing something for 10 years and you've had these people attacking you, making videos on you and stuff, you don't want to join their team because like, it's the ego, right? So, but I think eventually the shit he's got from the flat earthers since has made him think, well, they're actually fucking worse. So I'll just go with them. I think that's what's happened.
I think you're right. Hey, let me leave you with one other thing. It'll take me maybe a minute and a half, right?
Yeah.
There are two measurements that you can make on Earth. Very simple, objective reality measurements. The distance from the North Pole to the equator, which you can measure based on the latitude system, works in reality, right? With whatever model you adhere to, it works in reality. That is 6,210 miles from the North Pole to the equator. And the distance around the equator is a known value. It's been measured by airplanes, navigation, etc. You can also verify it using the subsolar point speed on the face of the Earth on the day of the equinox. It measures to 24,901 miles. Those two numbers cannot equate to a flat circle because the 6210 is the radius, 24901 is the circumference, and that does not comport to 2 pi r equals c, right? It just doesn't. It's 2 pi r in that case is 39,000 compared to what it should be, 24,901. They don't. When you put it on a sphere of radius 3959, and that distance becomes the 90-degree arc from the North Pole to the equator, then it works. It's the right number, exactly. Those two measurements falsify flat and require a sphere, plain and simple.
So I agree with the analysis of that observation. It's what I disagree with is that it should be applied to the land that we're standing on. I do agree that the sky is measured in a spherical or a hemispheric.
No, but we navigate on the ground. Ships navigate on the ground. Cars navigate on the ground. And that navigation is north to south, 69 miles per degree. Anywhere you go. Anywhere you go. On the ground.
Yeah. I agree that's what we get from the sky.
It's on the ground.
You can't ignore the sky though, can you? You can't just ignore the sky because it doesn't
But
work.
it's on the ground.
I'm acknowledging that that our sky is a 24,900 circumference.
No, it's on the ground. It's on the ground.
Well, and that's where we disagree. I agree with the sky. I disagree.
It's on the ground.
Because
the subsolar point is a point on the ground. It's not in the sky. It's on the ground.
Well,
you can drive 69 miles due north and see that you have moved 1 degree on the ground. These are measurements that are on the ground.
Due to the way that I would say that we're perceiving the light coming from the sky.
Oh my gosh, we're measuring on the ground. Has nothing to do with light.
Well, and this is where, that's fine. We disagree.
So he asked you earlier, do you have to just deny actual reality in order to believe what you said?
Well,
that's what you're doing. You're literally denying the reality that we know, which is the equator has a circumference of 24,901 miles.
I'm going to be fair because I always try and be fair on this, even though obviously Fuzzy, I completely agree with everything you're saying. I'm assuming that 1024 is convinced of the laser tests and stuff that flat earthers have done where they continuously say that everything's measured flat. Is that right? Are you going by other ground measurements 1024 that's making you just dismiss other things?
Well, so I would say I would look at just my observation of the Chicago skyline. That was my own observation. I can talk on that. Yes, there's been many other observations of long distance measurements, and they say that the land is measured flat. I even read an article like 15, 20 years ago before I even got into this about how Kansas is as flat as a pancake. So there's been other observations that I've come across of flatness. Um,
But that's
and
just a figure of space. It means it's not. There's not hills and stuff.
I agree. It was like uh, 0.02 deviation from one end of Kansas to the other. Um, and I try to pride myself on not being one that just dismisses things. I do like having conversations and learning from
Yeah,
everybody.
you came in pretty hot, but you've been a good conversation. I'll give you that.
Yes.
But I will say this, because this is what I always get curious with people, because it's like you don't sound like a fucking idiot. Like there's so many people, flat earthers, that just sound like they just want to talk over you because they don't want to hear anything you've got to say. They want to dominate the conversation because they've got their talking points that they think are gotchas. You're actually having a conversation, but I am curious. What is it that you've followed Jeran for this time? You believe Jeran, you respect Jeran and stuff. He's been and made this observation. I know it's just the sky and stuff, but can I ask, what is your sticking point? Like, why do you believe there is a lie about the shape of the Earth? That's my question. Like, why do you believe what is the point?
I have to go. I'm gonna drop. Thanks for having me up.
Okay, cheers, Fuzzy.
I hope I
See you
gave you a
later.
few things to think about.
Before you answer that,
if the conversation, Fuzzy.
Before you answer, if there's anyone else in the request, I can't see you. I'm not getting notified, so just let me know in the room, and I will invite you up manually. I can do it that way, but I can't actually see anybody in there. So if anyone's waiting in there, let me know, and I'll bring you up for a bit. But I've got to go soon. Yeah. So when I said that, what is your reasoning for why they are lying about the shape of the Earth?
The one that got me first, way back in the day, was pressure.
What do you mean?
Everything, our oxygen that we breathe is a pressurized gas, which tells me that I need a container to have that pressurized gas.
Right, we did do that. Like there is a pressure gradient that gets less and less and less. Top of Mount Everest is hardly anything there, and then if he keeps going that way, you will end up in space. Right? That is just objective. Even if it's space at the top of a dome, like there is a pressure gradient. However, that's not what I'm asking. Like, we can do that conversation if you want, but I've had it so many times. I'm always curious why you think the lie exists. Is what I'm asking. Like what would be the point in them lying about the shape of where we live?
So this is hypothetical. Like, you're asking me a hypothetical question.
Yeah, but you must have a belief on it to be so ground in with why, like they'd go to this length to prove that and to deny this, and space is fake and blah blah blah. There must be a reason that you think because I'm a conspiracy. Believe it or not, I like conspiracies. My podcast used to be completely conspiratorial, and that is why I've kind of got this opinion now, because I research things thoroughly, and it's like a lot of this stuff is just cherry picked on a lot of these things. And it was disappointing for me because conspiracies are much more exciting than other things, right? It's a good talking point. There's good things, but with this one, I could never understand where someone would get a reason to lie about the shape of the Earth. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Can we at least agree that you know what I'm about to say, that yes, it's my belief and it is a hypothetical because I cannot verify it. So yes, I can.
Mate, I don't know if you've been in lives, but I'm not looking for gotchas here. Like I'm genuinely curious. I'm making content is what I'm doing. I don't want to come in here and chat and argue with people. So I'm not. You don't have to check with me that I'm not going to ridicule you. I'm curious, right? So I know it's everybody's opinion that what they've got. So go for it.
I think the big one is the free energy.
Right. Okay. So you going? Are you like Tartaria person and that? Yeah.
I know of the information that you speak of. I have my own analysis of my own of what I've come across, my own Like I see 3 resets. I see a civilization within the pyramids. I see a civilization within the cathedrals, and then our current civilization.
But what? Why? And again, I know exactly. I know exactly what you're talking about because I've looked at all of this stuff, right? But so when you say free energy, what is the shape of the Earth got to do with that? Unless you're talking about infinite plane, right? Is that what you're talking about? Energy beyond the ice wall.
Well, see, I can't, now. uh, Have I said that in the past? Yes, I have said an infinite plane. It can't be an infinite plane because it's enclosed, so
Right.
it can't be infinite.
Exactly, and so many flat earthers don't realise that. They say gas pressure, you've got to have a container, and then they act like there's some little door that leads you out into the infinite plane. Well, if there's pressurised gas inside a container keeping it all in, you open that door and it all goes. So that, and they don't understand that. But yeah, okay. So you don't think there's an infinite plane. So where are they hiding energy then within the dome? Like what?
So the energy is going to be, we need to literally draw it from the atmosphere. Like we all have observed the electric field and the reading of the electric field, and then everyone always likes to thank Bob for his ring laser gyroscope and hit the 15-degree shift. Well, so whereas the globe, the heliocentric model says that it's the globe or the Earth that's spinning, where I say it's the ether and it's the electrical field that's spinning, and that's the energy that we need to be drawing from. Because energy is simply just motion. Well, if we have this 15-degree motion and it's moving at all times, we need to harness that movement and
What is something physical moving? You think the dome is moving? Is that what you think, or what?
I don't think our enclosure is not physical. And what I would say, to give an example for the enclosure, would be like the tokamak, where we take an electromagnetic field and we encase plasma and we can hold plasma. And that's what I would hypothesize of what the enclosure is.
The thing with the enclosure, though, is like, because, anybody, if you're going to ignore the sky, which is what flat earthers want people to do now, right? So if you're going to ignore the sky, anybody that went out and just ignored the sky would just observe flat and level, and we're on a flat earth, right? That's intuitively, that's what you would think, right? But not ignoring the sky, how do you reason the sky into we're on a flat plane with a dome and the ether is the rotation? Like, because there are 2 points of rotation in the sky. You have to accept that, and you have to explain that, surely.
Yeah, I would have to say that the sky's not physical.
What do you? So what's why would it be there as pretend then? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, do you believe in God? Are you religious?
I'm not religious. I know God. I know the Creator. However you want to.
So the Creator's created the realm that we live in, and He's trying to trick us with the sky.
Well, I don't see why. What do you mean? What are we being tricked about? Because
he's put 2 points of rotation in the sky to make us think we're on a sphere.
The 2 points in the rotation in the sky, I'll agree. That's I am yet to have a hypothesis to provide for that.
What doesn't that bother you though?
Because I'm learning.
That's fair, but that should be a good evidence, shouldn't it? Like that should be.
I agree that it matches the heliocentric model. Like, I don't disagree with that. It does show curvature. For me, it's the sky, though. Like, the only curvature is the sky, not the actual land. I don't disagree. Even with Jaren's 20 points, I've even told him numerous times, dude, I don't disagree with the claims that you are making. I just want I want more things verified. Same with Austin from Melodome with his sun observations. I don't discount his observations. For that man to have the discipline for an entire year to take pictures of the sun every day at the same time, that takes a lot of dedication and a lot of discipline to do that. I have the utmost respect for that. I just disagree. Like, to sit here and to argue over whether it's physical or plasma or this or that. I say that we need to go there and we actually need to verify what we're observing. Whereas they're like, oh, well, we have been 93 million miles away and we have been to the sun. And so there's an impasse.
Hello,
there.
Ange. Yeah, but you never thought it was plasma or not physical until it went against your beliefs, did you? So, but now, do you not see how that looks, though? Do you not see that, like, you accept the sky and you just say, as Jeran says all the time, that the belief of him was the South was a lie, right? That is, the South is a lie. It's not the way we're told. And when he went there, he realized it was the way we're told. And now it's like, okay, I need to reassess this. And I know you're saying that you are, but you just assumed before any of this. Like, now you're saying the sky's not physical, it's plasma, and you're just kind of trying to make it fit what you believe. Do you not see that?
I try to make it fit with the
because you think the Earth is
of our
flat.
Earth.
You need to make the sky fit that. So the only way to do that is to suggest that the sky isn't actually real.
Well, to non-physical.
Yeah,
Like, I'm not
real.
saying that's not real. It's just, it's not physical. I don't think we're going to be able to, like, we're not going to be able to go to it and touch it.
Do you think the moon is physical?
It doesn't appear
And
to.
Do you
Like,
not,
so one thing that I'll point out, we just had the lunar eclipse in March, and I came out with my telescope, my phone, and a pair of binoculars. And through my phone and the telescope, I was observing a 2D image in the sky. When I used the binoculars, though, it literally looked like I was looking at a 3-dimensional hologram in front of me, and it was like you put on the VR headset and you could reach out and touch this image in the sky. And that's, to me, that was like, well, how am I getting a different observation just because I'm using binoculars and looking into this compared to my phone and my telescope? So just wanted to point that out. Is it verifying any of my claims? No. I've got some questions of why it appeared different using
there's shadows in the craters on the moon, though. Like, why would they be there, depending on where the sun is?
I agree. And I'm still trying to figure out what the source of light from the moon is. I say I don't want to cut this short. I got to start my day. So
no problem. Thanks for coming up. Appreciate the conversation with you.
The conversation. Thank you very much. I hope more people recognize this and have actual conversations and not yelling, screaming matches. Like, this is why I got on the platform, so people understand, hey, let's have a conversation, not screaming matches.
Thanks, mate. See you later. All right. Everyone else in here, I'm going to shut down. My family have arrived home. I'm going to go and see them. So cheers, everybody, and see you later.